Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I am AmalgamAsh, and this is Cemetery Mary, a game by Arcadekitten. I have not played this in months, partly because I've been really busy trying to branch the channel out, partly because I just haven't really wanted the game to come to an end. And while I know that there's quite a bit of content left, this is the Twyla route. This is the one that I've chosen to play last. I do strongly believe, since I observed so much difference between the Croven playthrough and the Reginald playthrough, that this is going to have a lot of unique scenery, a lot of different perspectives, a lot of key story points that weren't touched on in the other two playthroughs, that all kind of help tie this big mystery together. And a lingering mystery we definitely still have. On top of that, we have the true ending that we need to try to find, get to, and experience. And for that, I think I'll follow a guide. But there's a lot of unique dialogue and scenes that we just haven't seen. So I'm going to make sure to try to cover those as well. This is my absolute favorite visual novel that I've ever played. It's been difficult to know that I've got this just sitting on the PC and haven't opened it yet for a long time, because I know that I need to be in kind of a relaxed, calm mood to fully immerse myself in it, and I haven't been in that mood for a while, but I think I can be now. So, when last we left Mary, we had just taken a book from the bookstore. It ended up being the How to Summon Ghosts book, so I imagine we're going to get a bit of that in this playthrough. But Twyla is on to something, and she's trying to understand, she's trying to solve the mystery of the killer. The killings that have been going on in this town, and she's decided to enlist Mary's help to find out who this killer is and why they could be doing this. Now, if you've watched my previous playthroughs, I think we know who and we know why. But we don't know. Well, we think we know why. There were some other things that happened in one of the other playthroughs that really gave me more questions. And I think that that's going to tie in a lot here. Anyways, we have arrived at Twyla's house. She's stinking rich. And that's where we left off. I didn't expect her to be this rich. We had to pass through a gate to even get in. She even had a fountain in the front. Oh my goodness, Twyla. You really live like this? Some people live like this and see no issue. Yeah. I told you I was rich, didn't I? We got out of the car together, and the chauffeur drove off slowly. As soon as I exited, my nose was bombarded with the smell of freshly cut grass and fragrant flowers that adorned the front of the house. Even though it had been raining today, nothing smelled like the dampness of rain, or even seemed overly affected by it. It felt like I had just stepped onto an entirely new planet. By the way, I live with my uncle. I'm pretty sure he's home right now. You might have to say hi to him. Oh, that's fine. I'm just warning you because he can be kind of sleazy. Oh? Hardly has a good attitude and often flirts with girls he doesn't know. I see. Yeah, but, now that I think about it, it's usually only for pretty girls, so you should be fine. I see. Thanks, Twyla. We walked up the tall staircase in front, and Twyla unlocked the double doors. Oh, look at this lad. Hi, Mary. Oh, I've missed you guys. Oh my goodness. As soon as we got inside, it appears as if her uncle was leaving. There were recently Cemetery Mary charms available on Arcadekitten's, I want to say it was Etsy, but it was brought to my attention by their Twitter, and I didn't manage to get one. So I'm absolutely going to buy the set as soon as they become re-released, because I want to show my support 1000%. Anyway, sorry, I just had to mention that. Oh, he has a deep voice. Twyla, home already? I love his hair. Yeah, I needed to bring someone over for some business. Ah, I see. Well, I was just about to head out myself. But it'd be rude of me not to introduce myself, of course. I'm Denzin. And what would your name be, little lady? I'm Mary. Oh, my name is Mary. It's nice to meet you, sir. A pleasure to meet you as well. Anyways, I ought to take my leave now. I'll be running late if I stay any longer. I'll leave you little ladies to your business, and perhaps I'll see you again soon. And after that, he was gone. Your uncle looks like a cartoon supervillain. Yeah, I know. He looks idiotic. It's embarrassing being related to him. Well, I don't know if I'd go that far. Come on, I didn't bring you here to talk about my uncle. Let's go. Twyla led me through her house. It was pretty big on the inside and very nicely decorated. To think that she just lived here felt wild. I didn't get to have too good of a look at her home, though. Twyla led me into a room that looked like a den, almost. Or maybe some kind of storage room? Compared to the rest of the house, it seemed a bit messy. As if the room itself belonged to a completely different house. There were instruments near the walls and small tables with playing cards sprawled across them. There were lots of cabinets and drawers, but I had no idea what they might be holding. It was strange. But somewhat cozy as well. Like some sort of tucked-away activity room. Twyla led me to one of the tables and told me to take a seat while she readied herself. I sat and waited for her to be ready as she pulled out a laptop, as well as a notepad and some other things. She sat across from me and opened her laptop, but once she had everything prepared, the entire aura of the room felt different. It felt compressed, full of pressure, like this really was some sort of interrogation, like I was somehow in trouble. I'm going to ask you a few questions, Mary. I want to know about your aunt and uncle that died. Be honest and tell me all the details. Okay? What should I do? I said I wanted to help Twyla, but do I really want to tell her the truth of everything that's happened? I know she's doing it for a good cause, but she is still a stranger to me. I hardly know anything about her. But if I lie, will she be able to tell? Would it ruin the investigation? If I lie about what really happened, am I offering the butcher another chance to get away? Would I share blame if someone dies because I didn't tell the truth? Ask away whenever you're ready. All right then. To start, how old were your aunt and uncle? Well, we're going to be honest. Well, I don't always remember their exact ages. Though, I don't think they were the same age. And it was kinda obvious, too. My uncle was kinda old, and it was beginning to show on his face. But my aunt still looked pretty good for her age. Sometimes she even looked younger than my mom, if I'm honest. But don't tell my mom I said that. Right, next question, I guess? Right. So, were you ever given reason to suspect that they may be dying soon? Huh? How do you mean? Well, before they died, were you ever worried that they would die soon? We'll be honest, because I'd like to know the answer to that myself. No, I never would have thought that. They were both so healthy and full of life. They just... I don't know. felt like the kind of people I would know forever. I see. Of course, that brings me to ask, how did they die? Alright, Twyla. We're really gonna open ourselves up here. They went out together one night. I don't know exactly where or why, but I just thought it was some sort of date night. They were supposed to meet up with a friend or two. But we got a call, and they were just gone. Gone. Well, like, dead, you know? But how did they die? I don't know. I wasn't allowed to see them, and no one spoke much about it in front of me, so I don't know much of the details either. It wasn't in the news or anything big. I don't think so. I don't know. All I know is that my uncle had blood on his clothes, maybe some rips and tears, and no one is really sure how my aunt died. I don't think... I see. Well, I think that's all I need. Oof. That was a lot of pressure. Twyla typed up some final words before closing her laptop and getting up from her chair. That's it? We're done? Yes, that's all I need right now. Thank you for agreeing to come talk with me. I was a bit taken aback by how short it took. We traveled all the way to Twyla's house just to talk for a short while. She didn't even ask me for their names or anything. I don't even know what sort of information she really got out of it. I doubted I was being overly helpful. So what do we do now? Well, I'll be continuing my own research, but you can go home for now. Really? That's all you needed me for? Mm-hmm. It's not quite what I was expecting to hear, but it certainly helps me a lot. Really? Yes, it helps me give me some more insight on some things that have been happening lately. Oh. She is looking into premonitions. But that's all I need from you, right now at least. As I said, you can go home now. You're sure? I mean, we came all this way, and I feel like I hardly did anything. You did more than enough, Mary. Please leave. I need to focus on the research I've been collecting, and the last thing I need is a headache. I understand. I'll text my driver to pick you up front. Give me your address so I can send it to him too. Oh, that won't be necessary. He can just, drop me off by the cemetery. Why? Just 'cause. I just, don't feel like going home right now. Alright then. After saying goodbye, I went out front to the car that would drive me back to the cemetery. It was a bit of a quiet and awkward ride, but I arrived there safely, so I can't complain. It had gotten later than I thought, however. I didn't realize how fast time flew by. There wasn't much else for me to do with the day at this point. It wasn't long before I decided to just take the bus back home again, and nothing of note really happened after that, except, well, you know. You're here? Hello? Yes, I'm here. Is there a problem? You mean, other than the ones you've caused me? I apologize. You say that, but nothing's changed. I'm doing all I can to keep you happy. You already know what would make me happy, though. And that is? Telling me about my parents. We've gone over this, haven't we? I'm sorry, Mary, but you already know how I feel and what I'll share with you. I'm keeping up communication with you because it's what you wish, but I won't divulge any information about your parents or who I am. So please, if you must ask questions, no, I won't answer anything like this for you. You'll find out in time, so please be patient with me. Do you understand? I understand. All right then. Things were quiet for a bit after that. I wondered if they were done texting me, but to my surprise, I got a text a few moments later. I expected it to be them, but instead it was... Hi, are you awake right now? Twyla? What could she want so late? Yes, I'm awake. Why do you ask? You don't have any plans tomorrow, do you? Other than standing around the cemetery all day? Well, when you put it like that... No, I'm not busy. Oh, good. Then we can do this sooner rather than later. I want you to head somewhere with me tomorrow. Where? You'll find out when we get there. Can't I know? No. Why not? Because I don't want you refusing to come with. You think I'd refuse to help you? I don't know. You seem kind of sensitive, that's all. Trust me, it's not that bad. You don't even have to do a lot. Remember when you were a distraction for me earlier today? Yeah? Well, you're just going to be doing that again, but someplace different. Oh. See? See what? You're already chickening out. I am not. So you'll help me then? In case you forgot, this is for the sake of capturing a murderer, you know. I didn't forget. I'll come with, just as long as you don't steal anything this time. I shouldn't need to. At least, not anything important. I'll see you tomorrow then. What's your address? I'll come pick you up. Oh, well... I'll be at the cemetery by then, surely. Really? I'm planning to go pretty early. Yes, I'll be there. I'm not really at home that often, so... Besides, it'll be easier for you to drive to, I'm sure. Whatever floats your boat, I guess. Can you meet me by the cemetery at 7:30? Oh, that early? The early bird gets the worm, after all. That's not a problem for you, is it? Oh no, it's fine. I'll be there. Alright, good. I guess I better go to bed then. Twyla didn't respond after that message. Seeing how early I would have to get up the next day, I tucked myself into the covers and tried to rush myself to sleep. It wasn't easy, especially when I didn't know where Twyla would be taking me, but eventually I was able to fall asleep. It was still somewhat dark out when I woke up the next morning. I could hear Croven snoring in his bed as I brushed my hair and got dressed for the day. Honestly, I wasn't even sure when the bus would be coming, as I never really took the bus that early before, but I caught one, and was waiting by the cemetery gates when Twyla's car pulled up. Once again, she had a chauffeur taking us. I tried not to question it. After all, she's probably used to getting around like this. Once I was in the car with her and we were driving, I felt it appropriate to ask her again where we were going. And she answered. A retirement home? Yes. This is supposed to help us catch the butcher. That's what I'm hoping anyways. If I may ask, why there? Well, one reason a murderer is being suspected is because of the spike in deaths lately. I know there's rumors people have been spreading about them being violent, but after doing research on all the recent deaths we've had, I've noticed a majority of them were above 65 years old. Whoops. People in that age group have been dying the most in this area. What? Well, I mean, isn't that a bit expected? For older or elderly people to be dying? Exactly. Huh? I don't think I catch your drift. Mary, if you were a serial killer who, to avoid risk of getting caught, didn't want to be known at all, who would you kill? I don't know. You'd kill someone who's already expected to die, of course. Even if an autopsy proves otherwise, most people would still assume they died of old age, or a heart attack, or some sickness, or some other age-related issue. Maybe a few people would be suspicious, and even spread rumors about you. But majority would think there's nothing unusual about an old person dying. I never thought of it like that. So we're going there to, look for clues? Evidence? Something like that. How can you be so certain about this? What if we don't find anything, or what if we get in trouble? It'll be fine. It's not like this is the most high-security place in the world. I'm sure all the nurses will be too worried about the geezers to pay attention to whatever we'll be doing anyways. Especially with you distracting them. Oh, right. I suppose I did say I would do that, didn't I? You did. So don't let me down, okay? I'll try not to. The sun seemed to illuminate the front of the building perfectly as we drove up. Cypress sighed. I've heard of this place before. I've seen job ads for it. They were looking for nurses and other stuff. Twyla told the driver to return in about 2 hours or so before stepping out of the car. I followed her. The air smelled fresh and clean as we headed towards the welcoming front door. It must have been by all the flowers planted outside. As we stepped through the entranceway, my senses were bombarded with an extremely sanitized smell. Some things are closer than they appear. Get your eyes examined. Cat pictures. Calendar. Owl girl. So I mentioned it's taken me a bit to get back into the mood for a thrilling, suspenseful mystery. One of the reasons that I wanted to get back into this, even though I don't want it to be over, is because Arcadekitten is actively working on Blackout Hospital, and that seems to be like a big deal. Their flagship game, if you were to judge it by presentation and how excited they are, sharing news about it in their Patreon posts. And I'm excited to see those posts as a patron, and I really want to play Blackout Hospital when it's ready. So I'm going to be doing that, definitely, but I don't want to be juggling a lot of different projects, especially ones by the same author, because I feel like the message could get muddied or lost if I do that. So I guess I'm hoping to finish Cemetery Mary by the time Blackout Hospital comes out. But if I don't, Arcadekitten has several other older projects, including It's Not Me, It's My Basement, and another one that they just recently finished called Here for Sweethearts. And the interesting thing about that game and about Blackout Hospital is that it uses characters from Cemetery Mary and some of the other games Arcadekitten's made as well. In fact, Croven's friend Vass, who we see in Croven's playthrough, that's a character that's in a lot of these other games as well. So these characters are kind of like playing roles almost in these other games. It's really fun to think about things that way, and I kind of love that strange anthology feature. And if it's one thing I really understand, respect, and I love, it's the love that a creator has for their characters and how they pay attention to them and respect them and use them in things. So, that said, I'm going to save here. It looks like we've made it to our next step in the investigation with Twyla, and we'll be picking up on that again very soon. So please stay tuned for the next episode of Cemetery Mary. It's good to be back in this saddle, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Till then, bye for now.